Hi everyone, welcome back to Brain Dump. My name is Kai. And this is a show where I talk about pretty much whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Just want to preface, per usual, that I am not a mental health professional. I'm just a 21-year-old that's struggled with mental health pretty much my whole life, and I'm just here to share my personal experiences with these topics. So, today, oh my gosh, I need to get a new microphone because I feel like I'm purposefully talking really quietly because the levels are like crazy. It's fine. So, today I want to talk about overthinking and making assumptions because that's something I do quite frequently, and I'd like to say that I don't do it anymore. And in a lot of aspects of my life, I don't. But I'm still human, and I'm also still me, and that's like a part of me, overthinking. It just kind of is in my nature, and I know that you can like untrain your brain to do certain things, but I feel like that's just who I am, and it's not as extreme as it used to be, but it's also just a part of me. So I can't really completely change it. Okay, let me tell you guys why this has come up. So I talked a few weeks ago about pursuing a career in retail, right? That financially was just the only option for me. And since then, I have gotten quite a few music opportunities that it's not that I guess it is. I thought that music was like unattainable because, I mean, if you really think about it, it is such a competitive industry. Everybody's a music artist. Everybody makes music. Genuinely, everybody makes music, which is great. It's just so competitive. And with me not really having a social media presence, like I'm only on Instagram, but my Instagram's private, and I like to keep it that way. I don't want everyone having access to my life. I was thinking about starting like a separate Instagram account for my singing. I may do that, but I'm just not on Instagram enough to, like I'm on Instagram, I'm not gonna lie to you, like I definitely go on Instagram. I mean, it is my only form of social media, but I don't know, maybe now that I'm taking it more seriously, I can focus on that. But oh my gosh, I didn't even finish my freaking story. So I got this opportunity to fill in a Taylor Swift cover band, and singing for Taylor, and I'm really excited for it, and depending on how it goes, I don't know, it could be a reoccurring gig. And dude, being a part of a band, that's so fucking cool. Like, I would love to be a part of a band. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like this is going to be a permanent thing. But nothing's set in stone. But, yeah, so that's happening. It's a private event next Saturday. And, I had to have a conversation with my boss at work. I had been planning on moving up in the company. I don't want you to think that you wasted your time on me or your energy. I'm still going to give 110% because that's just who I am, and that's how I've always been at work. I'm not going to stop doing my job simply because I don't want to move up anymore. I'm still going to take my job seriously, but I'm not planning on moving up anymore. I want to focus on these opportunities because if I don't take these opportunities, I'm going to have so much regret. And that's not fair to myself. I'm 21 years old. I want to grab these opportunities and take advantage of them because I don't know when these opportunities will come up again. I was talking to my therapist about this. Of course, dude, of course. Like, guys, I love my therapist. What a gal. And this is, I was about to say her name. This is my therapist's quote of the day from her mouth. Direct result of fear is regret. Direct result of fear is regret. Yeah, because I can think of so many times in my life where I've been scared to do something, and therefore I don't do it, and then I regret it. And I don't think regret is honestly worth your time, because there's nothing you can do about it, like, hello? But, it's still a human feeling. It's still a human thing when you feel regret. I try not to, let it impact my day-to-day, because I know that no matter how hard I think of these regrets, or these things that could have, would have, should have happened, that's just wasting a lot of energy that I could be using for something more useful. I want to reframe challenges and, adversity in my life as, I want to reframe it as something helpful. Because if you really think about it, the conflict, the challenges in your life, they are helping you to get to that next stage in your life and get you to where you want to be. Even though it may not seem like it. Like, there may be some really hard fucking times and you're like, why the hell is this happening? There's no way this is at any point helping me for my future. And then you look back on that time and you're like, wow, I needed to go through that to be who I am and to have the confidence that I have. And, all of this stuff is genuinely easier said than done. And it's simple. It's really simple if you're just looking at the facts, but it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. Also, okay, I've been making assumptions solely because I am trying not to overwork myself. I find myself doing, over what I need to do. Obviously, I'm going to be a great employee and I'm going to do my job, but there's some things that I do that aren't really my job. And so I've been trying to, take a step back from that. Not take a step back from being good at my job, because, hey, I'm always going to be great at my job. But people have become so accustomed to expecting this certain thing from me, and now that I'm focused on something else, I don't want them to think I'm distracted. At the same time, I kind of am. I have a lot going on outside of work, which is different from my usual, because usually it's just work. It's work and my mom and my boyfriend and, my open mic on Tuesdays and karaoke on Thursdays. That was my life, and now it's going to look very different. I start school next week, one class, but, there's just going to be a lot more happening in my day-to-day, and I'm a little overwhelmed by the change, but where was I going with that? Making assumptions. I'm afraid that people are going to assume that I'm just giving up on my job or just being lazy just because I have something else going on. And I don't know. I try so hard to not care what people think, and for the most part, I don't. But there are little minuscule things that I'm like, wait, what if they think this about me? And I don't know why I do that. It makes sense, validating that. But I think I do that because I'm afraid of disappointing people. I think that's a really big fear of mine, and I've realized that lately with, having to have these hard conversations about, hey, I'm going to do something different. You can't beat your fears. You can confront your fears and face them head on, but you can't avoid them. Because, like I said earlier, from my therapist, the direct result of fear is regret. And I'm just sick of being fearful for things in my life that might not even happen because I'm overthinking. Situations in life that you think is a win-lose can be a win-win no matter what, depending on how you look at it. It goes back to my episode about what if versus even if, because what if this thing goes terribly wrong? What the fuck what if? Even if that thing goes terribly wrong and not the way that I wanted it to go, I will grow from it and I will learn from it, because that is a learning experience. Every hardship is a learning experience, and that's what you have to take from it. Because if you don't take anything from that adversity, you're never going to grow, and you're going to stay complacent and start to dislike yourself. I can speak from that personally. And honestly, I'm making assumptions about things that nobody has told. Nobody's told me I'm doing a bad job. I'm just, in my head, I'm like, what if? Even if people think that I'm not doing my job to the best of my abilities, so what? So what? I know that I am. I know that I am. I know that I'm doing 110% per usual, because that's what I always do at work. It's just the way I am. I've always been a hard worker, and I think that's just part of who I am. I can't really turn that off, even if I didn't care as deeply as I do about, the company that I work for. And I do care, very much so, about the business. And I think recently I've been getting really sucked into it, and I'm trying not to take it so seriously, because it's, at the end of the day, it's not that serious. It's retail. It's always going to be there. Retail's always going to be there. These music opportunities won't always be there. And so that's why I had to take them, and I don't have any regrets from that, and it feels good. It feels good, yeah. And so, even though I haven't been getting any negative responses, I think about times that I have, and, when I set boundaries with people, if someone gets upset because I say no or set a boundary, that is very useful information for me. That tells me who you are, and, we all have a different line. A line where we draw, hey, this will cross the line for me, and I'm walking away. I'm just trying not to choose to argue with someone that's only willing to misunderstand me. And I have done that in the past, where no matter what you say, you're not going to change their mind. And, accepting that was really hard, because all this stuff, it seems so simple. Like I said earlier, it's simple but hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to put it into practice, And, I've always talked about being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that sometimes when we're doing something new and we are uncomfortable, we think it's because we're doing something wrong. The actual reason that I'm uncomfortable isn't because I'm doing something wrong. It's just how I was trained to survive. It's not proof that I'm doing anything wrong. It's just being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I know a lot of the things I say, I sound like a broken record, and I'm aware of that. I can recognize that. But, yeah. You guys, I've been yapping, and also I've been so, locked in this episode. I started taking ADHD medicine. Well, I've taken ADHD medicine in the past, but this is, the first one that's, actually working, I feel like. And it's great, because it's just in time for school. I just feel so locked in right now, and, I feel like I'm not really gonna have to edit this episode a whole lot. Maybe I will. Maybe I'm tripping. But I feel like I haven't been, tripping over my words as much as I usually. So, yeah. Book of the week. I finished War D by Frida McFadden, and it was really good. I literally just lied to you. I want to start my reading journal again, because I used to have a journal that, I kept track of all, my favorite quotes from books, and just, the dates that I read them. I have a Goodreads account, so I keep track that way, but, me, I like having the physical thing. So, I read that, and then, guys, okay, so I don't know, this is a very niche childhood experience. Maybe it's not. Maybe these books are, way more popular than I think. They probably are. I feel like everyone knows about these books. Maybe not. I'm just contradicting myself and not telling you a damn thing. So, the Warrior Cat series. I used to read these books religiously as a child, and I have terrible memory. So, hey, couldn't tell you what the fuck they were about. Just know they were about freaking cats. And I wrote fan fiction about it. And so I'm rereading the series. I'm still in the first book, halfway done. And it's great. And it's making me, relive my childhood of warrior cats. I always forget about my hyperfixations what was the first? The first big one, big one was The Walking Dead. But pre that, it was the Backyardigans, and then it was warrior cats. Genuinely, this shit, so good. And it is still so good. And I know it's for children, but hey, I'm still reading it, because who cares? Who cares? So, alright, songs of the week. Potion by Dejo? How the fuck do you say that name? DJO? So, Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, Wish I Never Met You by Baby Girl, Sweet Marie by the Walters, and Fireflies by Owl City. What a great song Fireflies by Owl City is, by the way. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. I really appreciate you. Just remember that you're loved, valued, and appreciated in this world, and I love you. So, yeah. Bye.